Hey, Curtis. Great to see you.
Hi, everyone.
So I've given you, just to clear everything up in the room, I've given you a direct link. Your name is going to show Adam, another person from our team, but you are Curtis. We've got Curtis on board, and I'm thrilled to have you here. And I don't know how much you heard me speaking, but this is exactly where I'm at in my own journey. So I've got some skin in the game here. Very selfishly, when I got the call up, I was like, yes, count me in, because I'm wanting to expand to the UK. So I'm going to be hanging on every word you've got today.
Yep. No, glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome.
Should I start now?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just having a chat. I love the interaction that we have in the chat, and I'll keep monitoring that. But I was just speaking to Pete. He's about to, he's got his first sample. He's going to launch in Australia first. Just dealing with, that emotional roller coaster, what happens next. We've got some people that are looking to, expand into the US, India markets, all sorts of things. So feel free to share, take over. If anything comes through the chat while you're talking, if you're happy for me to
please
interrupt.
Please interrupt and please ask me questions and whatever it might be. I prefer not to talk for 20 minutes straight. So everyone, please ask all the questions you have about me and stop me. I might not know all the answers, but I'll see what I can do for you guys. All right.
Sounds brilliant.
Really excited to have everyone here. Just for reference, my name is Curtis. I'm a partnership manager here at Airwallex. And we're going to talk a bit about expansion here. This is sort of what Airwallex is all about. We love working with ZonGuru to help our joint customers expand globally. It's in everyone's benefit. So let's get to it, okay? So we're going to kind of walk through a few concepts and ideas here, and really sort of get into, where might you go, how should you think about expansion, and really hopefully giving you a little bit more information to sort of settle those nerves, right? Because it is a big endeavor, right? If you are in one country right now and you're thinking about heading into a new country to, build your brand, build a bigger base, build a bigger community, whatever it might be, it is a big undertaking. And, I just want to give you some things to think about as we go through. The first thing is, like, why should you believe me, right? What's Airwallex, right? Many of you might not know who Airwallex is. If you do, congratulations, that's great. But some of you guys don't. So I just want to talk about a little bit about Airwallex. Not really a plug, but just sort of like what our background is, and how we might be able to help, and why you might want to listen to us a little bit here. Okay, so Airwallex, we're actually a company based in Australia. We're valued at $5.5 billion. We support 130 countries, payouts 130 countries. We have 12 global offices, right? So we sort of know what we're doing. We're about 6 years into this, and a very, very large contingent of our customers are e-commerce merchants, online merchants, people selling on Amazon, just like yourself. What do we actually focus on? What does our product actually do? Well, we help you collect, hold, and spend your money. We help you collect from, whether it's from Amazon or from Shopify, or from cars, or collect payments from direct transfers and wires and funds from whoever it might be. We help you hold in multiple currencies. I'll get to why that's important a little bit later, but also help you send out the money and spend the money, right? Whether it's invoicing employees, paying back your vendors, or spending money through a debit card connected to an expense management tool. And you're probably thinking, oh, this sounds like something else I might have already, right? The catch really here is that we have no fees, right? So there's really we've heard this sort of from our customers who've moved over from other providers that they've been getting feed to death, right? There's a fee for this and a fee for that, and a fee for having too much money or too little money.
Just to interrupt there, I made the switch to Airwallex probably 6 weeks ago, maybe now. And the reason why I made the switch was I was looking at my accounts at the end of each month, each quarter, and I was floored when I tallied up how much I was being charged in bank fees from another provider I was with. Like, it just blew me away. You don't realize how much they all add up over time. And of course, it all affects your margins, the bottom line. Since making that switch, not only, and I'm just honestly, from my own perspective with my own business, it is so easy to use. And I love when I make a payment, the beautiful PDF that I can send to my supplier, because that's the first thing they always ask. There's no fees. It's just a brilliant platform. And I, hand on heart, recommend it to everybody I speak to.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I mean, we try our best here, right? We do try our best here. So all these things are true, right? There's no like gotchas here. There's no like anything, crazy. There's, actually, when we explain what we do, everyone's always asking us like, well, how do you make money, right?
Yeah.
Because they're so used to like, well, there has to be a fee for setting money out, or there has to be a fee for withdrawing from my AUD account to my personal account, right? And like, all these little like random bits and bops are like, where the fees just start add on and add on and add on, and that is your margin, right? That is something you could do to buy more supplies or pay for more ads or whatever it is you want to do, right? And maybe it starts out small, but eventually becomes quite large over time here. So full transparency, we do make money, right? We are making money. We make money from the interbank rate for the margins above interbank rate, starting actually as low as 0.3 in some regions to as high as, but no higher than 1%, right? And for comparison, other competitors here start at 1 to 2%, maybe as high as 3, 4, 5% if you're using a traditional bank here, right? So just keep that in mind, right? We make money. We make more money when we help our customers expand globally, right? We need people like Kimberly to want to go to the UK and be successful in the UK, because then she will collect in British pounds and send back that money into Australian dollars so she can spend it on whatever she wants to spend it on, right? It's totally aligned, our business model, right? We can't keep making money off of Kimberly if she doesn't grow her business, right? To be perfectly honest, right? If she only sold in Australia, and collected in Australia and never did anything international, we wouldn't make more money off of her, right? To be put very, very bluntly here, okay? And the idea of like, how does this actually add up, right? Well, really quick examples here, right? Clipchamp, right? They're saving $13,000 USD annually because of lowering their fees from their previous providers. Coconut Bowls is making 3% more margin, right, from moving over to Airwalks.
So I'm just processing those figures. 13,000 is the first one, and then 3% on. Yeah, because I think a lot of people go, oh no, I'm fine. Like I said, add up what you're spending. You're going to be shocked, absolutely shocked.
Right. It's like $5-10 here and there, and then but as you scale, you can conceivably paying 10 times more on FX fees, from us to someone else, right? Honestly, so it does add up, right? And why not start now and make the money stretch a little bit further, right? Is a good way to look at it. It's 3% more margin, right? They're saving about $8,000 per month, right? Now they do have other subscription, other payments, and a lot of other things, right? And part of their e-commerce platform, but these are like very, very concrete like numbers that they've saved, right? From supplier payments and SaaS spend, right? So we do sort of know what we're talking about here, to just give myself some credibility here, because so hopefully you at least like pay attention a little bit here, hopefully. Okay. All right. So why should you expand, right? That's sort of why we're here, and, aside from the money, right? Because obviously the money is very important, right? We want to expand to generate more money, to grow our business, to really, go into a new market, right? But there's other actually really important things that you need to consider, right? One is like mitigating your risk, right? Actually thinking about like, if you're only in Australia or you're only in the US and the economy isn't doing too well in that country, that will directly impact how much money you can make, right? You kind of want to spread the pots around, right? Have your fingers in more pies and that whole thing, and really just not be so reliant on one country for all your income and all your sales, right?
Yeah.
Two, right? If you have like a really great product, someone might pick up on that, right? And if you're not in, let's say, the UK yet, maybe there might be a copycat in the UK that does exactly what you do with a different brand and just builds out what you do because you didn't get there fast enough, right? And I'm not saying go there right away, right when you launch, right? But when you feel comfortable at that point, you should really think about like, getting there before the copycats do, basically.
Yeah, it's that first mover advantage. That one hit home for me because one of my products I can't patent. It's not available in the UK market at the moment. I want to be the first one there so that I can build that reviews, get my rankings right before somebody else has a look at the US and goes, "Oh, look what we've got here. Let's do that." So that one hit home. I've just had Pete's asked a question. He's just said, what size revenue would you need to generate before you could consider using Airwallex? Do you have a minimum that
No, so there's no minimums, no maximums, right? Like we have people who quite literally start out on Amazon with us, right? At basically zero sales. And obviously we have much bigger companies who are, in the 7-8 figure range, right? And we aren't made for super large companies or super small companies. We're made for everyone who needs to, use us as a tool to help them grow and help them send money and transfer money and collect money. So please, like, go for it, right? I have an offer at the end of this thing. You can use that link and sign up for it, get some free credits and the whole deal. But no, we quite literally have people starting out on FBA, right? They just got a ZonGuru account. And they're like, I need a bank account. Where do I go? And they get an Airwallex account right away. So yeah, you can be as early as you want for this.
Yeah, because for anybody who isn't selling yet, you will need a bank account for Amazon in that local market currency to really get the most. Like you just need to. So this is the solution for that. You can't use one of the big 4 Australian banks.
Yeah, that gets a little trickier, and I have a slide that talks about why that is a little tricky. But it's a little tricky when you do it that way. Yeah. Cool. And then a couple other things, right? Like you're preventing fraud, right? Like maybe that's not a copycat, but maybe someone actually takes your branding because you're not there, and it's like, okay, well, this is what our thing is now, or whatever it might be. There's other benefits, right? Like the more volume you get, the more sales, you have more buying power. You can buy more from your supplier, better cost. You can build your brand better, build a community.
Adds value to your business, I'm assuming too. If you go to sell and you can show that you're active in multiple marketplaces, surely that puts a bigger price tag on the business.
For sure, right? You're like a proven product, right? You're a proven product in multiple markets that the buyer, right, will be like, oh, well, this works in 3 markets instead of 1 market, right? We know this, or we know that, if you can sell in the UK now, we can expand you to the EU quite easily, right?
Exactly.
And then they can take the range from there, right? Just make it go for you. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so if this is your first time, right, thinking about expansion, maybe you're in the US only, or you're in Australia only, what are you really looking for, right? So some thoughts, right? Like you, in theory, want English-speaking countries. It's just easier. It's not saying that you won't have to localize and understand cultural cues, but you won't have to do wholesale translation, right? Going from English to French is a big translation. Going from American English to British English, same thing, effectively, right? With some cultural like words you might want to stay away from or hone in on, but something that you can think about there, right? And we were talking about like going into maybe possibly Canada or the UK as part of the prompt for this. So when we're thinking about this, we're thinking about like, where are they growing rapidly? Where's there a lot of e-commerce growth, right? If you look at Canada, they've doubled e-commerce in the last 3 years, and 42% of the UK market shops internationally, and they're 40% of the retail market's e-commerce, right? So those are really big numbers, and their numbers are escalating really, really quickly. So you can catch the tailwinds there, right? And just like latch on and get the growth as the country grows and becomes more online. And the other things you're looking for are like, you want it to be easier to incorporate, start your business. You want a way to like manage inventory, right? Amazon does not like it if you're out of stock, right? So be very, very aware of that. But you want to be a way to manage the inventory, ship your products there, and be able to like control those things. And there is risk here, right? Like you have to understand like there's a business cost for you to ship your stuff into a new country, incorporate, spend time and energy building it up, use $100, right? So you want to like lower the risk as much as you can here. And, obviously like test, find success, and then just go for it. But once you know what you're doing, right? Because each market's a little bit different.
Yeah. Great advice.
Right. Okay. So now to the meat, right? So Canada or the UK, right? And I'll break this down to sort of what you should be like, at least considering on a very like fundamental basis as you think about entering these markets, right? So Canada is tricky. I'm just going to say this really upfront, right? There's sort of two ways you can do Canada, right? And one is like you incorporate as a business in Canada. And Canada will let you incorporate on the federal level, which is like across the entire country, or provincial, which is sort of like states in the US, right? And so, but in the federal way, it lets you sell across all Canada, but you have to have 20% company controlled by a Canadian citizen, like on your board, which is
that makes it really hard. Yeah, if you don't have,
I mean, unless you're actually a Canadian citizen, like this is like almost not a thing for you, right? Especially for most Amazon sellers, right? We're not Canadian. I'm not Canadian.
No.
Right? You're from Australia, from the US, from everywhere else. You're not Canadian, so this is sort of like a not a real option for you, almost to a certain extent. Just something to be aware of, right? If you try to do this. So if you can incorporate provincially, right? One by one and sell in one region. And you can think of that as sort of like, hey, maybe I want to sell in, one region to start, and you get tested out there and you can slowly incorporate more and more licenses and business license numbers as you move forward, right? Or maybe you just say, hey, I only want to really sell in Toronto and Vancouver, and that's only 2 provinces, and I'll leave the middle alone, right? However you guys sort of think about like where the population is and where your core demographic is and who's the actual buyer of your product.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this. It might be a bit left of center, but I know, so I'm based in Australia and I sell in the US using my Australian company. Do you know if Canada recognizes that as well?
I don't think so. It's a little bit tricky. I think Canada really wants you to do that because they want you to pay the taxes there. But there is actually a thing that I'm going to show you after this part that will make this a little easier if you want to actually go to Canada. Right? This is just like letting out like this is one way to do it. This is the trickier way, the harder way. You also have to worry about all these different levels of taxes and sales taxes. So GST is like a universal tax. It's at 5%, but each province might have their own tax. And then there's something called like HST, and then Quebec has its own tax that you file directly with the Quebec government. Like this isn't to dissuade you from going to Canada, okay? This is just to be very transparent that if you decide to incorporate in Canada, there's a lot of maneuvering here you'll have to do as a first-time seller, right? Just beware. The second way to go into Canada, right, is something really funnily called NARF, right? It's actually Amazon's North America Remote Fulfillment. It's basically a way for you as a US-based seller to sell into Canada and Mexico without actually any extra work. So this is how you can do this right now, Kimberly. Like you can basically sign up for
I'm doing this right now, but I've always wanted, because I get a couple of sales every day from Mexico and Canada. I was just wondering, is it worthwhile me going actually and holding my inventory in Canada and setting up that specific account? But after that last slide, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep it like this because I literally do nothing. Those sales come through. I don't need to file any taxes there. I don't need to set up. It's a no-brainer.
No. I mean, I think if you have like large scale and you're big enough there and you want to make a full commitment to the country, there are benefits of doing it, right? Like you probably ship a little bit faster, your inventory is there already. Like a lot of things are in your benefit that way, right? But I mean, I would strongly suggest going the NARF route if you're starting until you really know, sort of like you're confident that you're getting like 5-6 figure sales, right? Then it's sort of worth the effort at that point, I feel like. But yeah, so NARF lets you sell into Canada and Amazon's websites. It all comes from the Amazon US warehouse, right? You're already paying for it. There's no extra cost. It's totally risk free, right? You can do NARF and like let's try one of your products, and maybe it doesn't sell, maybe it does sell, but it's not anything more than what you're already doing for the US market.
Exactly. Super low risk.
Yeah. And then, like the last line there, like the local tax regulations, you just avoid it all, right? Like all that scary stuff I had before is sort of like goes away by magic with NARF.
I love that. Yeah.
Right. So for everyone going to the US market, right? Like I would think you could almost do NARF today, right? Basically, because you will sell into Canada and Mexico from your Amazon account.
And they recently added Brazil too to that, which is, you know, the population in Brazil is huge. Like you've got 3 extra countries you can instantly add.
Yeah, definitely, right? So it's pretty enticing here, right? Of what to think about it, and just really go after it, after Canada, and also Mexico for that matter, in this way. Okay, the UK, it's very straightforward actually compared to Canada. You effectively just register, right? Which the HMRC. You get your business license number. You insure your business. You understand that VAT taxes are about 20%. So make sure you.
Ooh, that's high.
Yeah, it's high. It's high. Please make sure you understand that VAT taxes are 20%. So increase your margin by 20%. Your cost of goods sold by 20%. Otherwise, your entire margin will be gone.
Absolutely. But I'm just thinking buyers in the UK would be used to that tax. So they would be accustomed to higher price points. I'm just guess like it's incorporated into their economy.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, it's all passed through, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you came in there with your product and you didn't do that, you'd sell a lot, I'm sure. I don't know if you make any money is the problem, right? Everyone in the UK would see such a good deal on this product you're selling, because there was a 20% discount effectively built on the system here.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. The corporate tax rate's quite low though, in comparison to Australia.
Definitely, right? It's not bad, right? It's one of those things where, like, if you were actually going to go through the process of registering your business and incorporating, like the UK is much, much more straightforward. And you can sell to the whole thing and not just like one province and, however we want to think about this. So highly recommend it, right? That's one of those things.
And you don't need someone in the UK to be on your board of directors. You don't need any
all the challenges that Canada brings, right? It's one of those things, like, until you dig into the details, you just don't know. Right? You might have gone through like a whole application with the Canadian government because you think, oh yeah, I want to sell to all of Canada, and then you're like, no, you can't do that, and you just spent like a week filing paperwork. So hopefully that was useful. So the big takeaways here, right? Like, if you're Canada, right? Hopefully it's very clear. Go with NARF, right? Please go with NARF. The UK might be easier to enter, to incorporate. There's free ports, hold, and warehouse stuff, right? But really, like, it's a bit of a triangle, right? Like, if you're in the US, you likely want to go to Canada, you likely want to go to the UK, and you could do both quite easily. It's just a matter of where do you feel comfortable trying first, right? It's up to you. Right? It's really up to you, right?
We've just had another. Sorry, Curtis. We've just had another question come through, and it's about so on the. I'll read it word for word. So in the UK, you just add 20%, like we would add 10% for GST in Australia. Does Amazon collect it for sellers like they do for sales tax in the US, or is that on us as a seller in the UK? Do you know the answer to that one? You please ask someone who knows something more about taxes, like an accountant would, please. I'm pretty sure you file that yourself at the end. I have a feeling you do too. It's not something that I'm fully familiar with. And that's the best advice, I think. Whenever you're entering into one of these marketplaces, you need to partner with the right people. So you would have an accountant who specializes in that marketplace. You would have your lawyer in that marketplace.
There's just like too much nuance. Like, I'm pretty sure like you could have an accountant come in here and do a whole thing for like 30, 40, 50 minutes on just like.
We would fall asleep, but we
can. Probably. But the ones who stuck it out would have gotten a lot of takeaways. If everyone made it through there. Okay. All right.
And sorry, another question's just come through. I'm not sure if you can see the chat. If you can, just let me know.
I just talked back and forth a little bit.
It's Ian's just asked, do you need to incorporate a company in the UK?
Yeah, that's it. It's I don't know if there's a firm answer to this, but it's like yes. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes to a certain degree, right? Because they're going to want to collect their taxes, and the only way they collect their taxes is from your company.
Right. Okay.
So yes, right. Pretty confident it's a yes here.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Moving right along. Great questions. Please keep them coming.
I know. I love the questions. And the other one we had was actually from Kimberly Locke. So she's part of the ZonGuru team as well, but not feeling great today. So I'm glad that you're joining us in the chat, Kimberly. I hope you're feeling better soon.
Yes. Oh, so add tax. Yes. Right. Yeah. Just, I mean, like, yeah, add, like, you should add it. I would assume you add it like your margin on top of the price, and then you pay back the money later, right? As part of your filing. Okay. Great. All right. Framework for expansion. So now that you've sort of decided where you're going to go, right? Maybe this UK in this situation, maybe it's Canada. What do we have to think about here? What should we do, right? Well, I think you should start by identifying your customer, right? Like, who are they? Why do they buy your product? What is the persona? Because it's likely you'll have to find someone who looks just like that, right? In the other market, right? If you're selling yoga mats, right? There's a very specific type of person who buys yoga mats, right? They're not playing basketball, sort of thing. So those are the things you should look for, right? Just identify who it is and try to find those people again, and find that community again to replicate the magic that you had in one country over the next, right? Market keyword research, competitor analysis, right? Tools like ZonGuru make this really easy, right? Honestly, they have these competitor and keyword analysis tools out there for you, where you can just dive in and see what is a product similar to yours that's in this space, or what are the keywords that your competitors are using in this space to sell the product that's in the same niche as yours, right?
Totally. And it always surprises me what keywords people use, because I think I know this. I know what they're searching for. I'm always wrong. Like, the combination of keywords people are using to shop in different countries is just crazy for the same product. Like, the old example of barbecue versus grill, like that on so many different products, ones you wouldn't even expect. And you could be targeting the wrong keywords and thinking, oh, this is a waste of time. This marketplace isn't right for my product. Just tweaking those a little bit, getting that insight into what shoppers are actually using, and then suddenly you're, away. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's so true, right? Like, it's not so much, I mean, like, you undoubtedly know your market the best because you're successful in it, right? But people just use slightly different words, right? And that's the whole thing, right? That's all of it, right? Or they misspell the word or something like that, right? Or quite literally, like, it's just like, it could be a spelling thing, right? Even from Australia to the US, right?
Absolutely.
There's an extra U in some words, and
we like to put S's and E's into everything, and
a C instead of an S, right? That sort of stuff. Like, there's little bits and things like that can just have a really large impact. So please take a look at that, right? It's important. We want you to be successful here, right? That's the whole goal. Capital, right? If you're making the big push, right? If you're trying to get into a new country, you'll need more inventory. You'll need more money for ad spend, right? Ad targeting, all those sort of things, right? There's plenty of options specifically for e-commerce, right? Payability, right? AFIG, like, there's just all these people out there who can help you with money and payments and non-dilutive funding to help you get what you need to get you where you're going, right? So take a look at that. Just so, again, right? Out of stock is no bueno in Amazon's world. So you want to make sure you're doing that right. And you want to make sure you have enough to actually do the ad and the testing, right? That's on the next line, right? Like, you're going to do advertising and retargeting and audience building, right? That's it. You're an unknown brand in this new country. So to do it right, you're going to have to go after them, basically, right? So make sure you have a bit of budget there to do it right.
Absolutely. I see it as an investment. Those first couple of production runs you do in a new marketplace, it's really an investment. You're building your base, you're building your rankings. And then once you've got that foothold, maybe you can scale it back a little bit. But initially, you need that budget. Otherwise, nobody's going to find you.
Yeah, right. You gotta get, I don't know, to the first couple pages, maybe
Oh, at least, yeah.
maybe-
Yeah, we're like goldfish these days. Like we've got 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. Like you want to be at the top of that list.
yeah. I'm a little crazy, so I will go like, even in Google, I'll go like 8 pages deep. But most people are not doing that, right?
E-commerce shoppers love you, people like you. E-commerce brands
Yeah,
love people like you. That's
I'm just like next, next, next. I'll go through the whole thing, right?
yeah,
I'm like that type of person, but most people aren't, right? They want to be whatever
yeah,
the Amazon's recommending, whatever's in the first 5 recommendations, right? That's what they're looking for here.
yeah,
They want to just like solve that problem, click the buy now,
exactly.
and then be done with it all, right?
Yeah,
They're not trying to make I guess, do research basically.
that's it. So you need to pay to get to that position until you
Yeah.
can organically place there. So
Yeah, exactly right. You just gotta, yeah, get the product in front of enough people to get the reviews up, to get the volumes through, so Amazon knows, hey, people will like your stuff,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've just had another question come through,
yeah,
and they've
please.
asked, so we'll need a bank account in the expansion country, i.e. UK, Canada, and
Mhm.
Airwallex sorts that out without us having to deal with a local bank in that area.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good question. I did not pay for that question. That is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Use AirWalks for that exact use case. Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, exactly. Wherever you're located right now, if it's like Australia or the US, and you can sign up for an AirWalks account in that local country of yours, right? Hong Kong, Singapore, UK, EU, wherever you might be located right now, you can sign up for a local AirWalks account. But once you're in with Airwalks, let's say with a USD bank account, or like Kimberly, she's in Australia with an Australia bank account from Airwallex. She actually has access to create, I think, 7 more bank accounts around the
Yeah.
globe.
I
Right?
didn't realize that when I signed up, and then I had all these different options, and it's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at one point, Kimberly might be like, I really want to go to Singapore or Hong
Yeah,
Kong
I've got that bank account.
or
Yeah.
Europe or Canada,
Mm.
or Japan, right? Like she has that ability in one dashboard to have like 7, 8 different global bank accounts, and it's like once you're in, it's like as easy as creating like 3 clicks a new bank account in any country you
Mm.
want, that we support, of course. So it's really, really easy. It's just like click, 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 and then, oh, by the way, here's your new bank account with all the information you need
Yeah.
to collect and hold money in a local currency for free. Right.
Yeah.
Again, we don't charge you any of this. It's all free monthly. There's no minimums. You put $1 in there or $100,000 in there, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's zero cost to you.
And it's
Yeah.
all on the one dashboard. So I don't need to log in and out of different accounts or navigate to new browsers. It's all there. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm totally biased here, but it's really quite easy to use and navigate and just grow your business from one spot to see where where your finances are at. And the last thing is, ship, warehouse, manage inventory, right? We sort of hit almost a couple times, but you'll have to get your stuff there. You have to find, different providers to get your product there. And it's just, manage your inventory wise.
Logistics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's logistics, right? And there's providers who are specifically in this space to help you get there, help you become a merchant of record, an importer of record, that gets your product from Australia or from China into the UK without getting held up in customs, right? And all the compliance issues there. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. So banking and payments, there's a couple of things that's very pertinent to what the last question was asked. And there's a couple of concepts I want to introduce you to, rather than like tout about like AirWallex and low fees and zero fees and all that sort of stuff. When you're expanding to a different country, there's 2 things that they don't really tell you about with other things and other competitors. There's 2 concepts I want to just impart on you both, on everyone here, right? One is the idea of forced conversions, right? It's exactly what it sounds like. They're forcing your currency to be converted, right? By the platform, like a competitor of ours, or by the bank, right? The great example of this is like, if you're an Australian business like Kimberly, and you're selling in the US, but you're not using AirWallex, and you've connected your Australian bank account, right, to that Amazon US account, right? And you're selling all this great stuff in the US market, and Amazon's collecting USD for you. They cannot deposit USD into your Australian bank account, right? The Australian bank wouldn't know what to do with it. It's not multi-currency bank. Like my US bank account can't collect Australian dollars. So Amazon, right, it's a forced conversion, will convert the currency for you into Australian dollars so that your normal bank can accept it, right? That's usually comes with a fee, a service fee, conversion fee. Other platforms like ours do that as well, where they won't hold the currency for you. They'll convert it for you. So that's a forced conversion, right? You don't get control.
Yeah. What I hate about those is you can't pick the date either. So if the currency is continually fluctuating, right, you can't time that. It just gets converted when they convert it. So not only are you charged for it, but you lose that ability to go, I'm going to hold on to this for a week because I have a feeling the exchange rate is going to move in my favor. You lose that. So you're kind of being pinged twice.
Yeah. You're losing optionality. You're losing like just control, right? And they're charging you for the privilege of it as well, right? So it's not like you're getting a better rate or anything like that, right? Typically it's a higher rate as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's forced conversions, right? The one-time push from whatever currency you're collecting in to the actual like currency you can actually hold in your bank. And there's something called double conversion, which is the same thing just happening twice. So in this model, like let's say Kimberly again, because it's great that Kimberly's here and she's doing this because she actually has US and Australian dollars. So she just did this, right? And maybe she's now has that USD got forced converted for her into AUD, and now it's an AUD. But now she has to pay for Amazon ads, right? Or pay for the ZonGuru account, right? And those are all in USD. So now she has to take her credit card out and spend money in USD. And now that AUD she just collected is getting converted back into USD again, right? And wouldn't it be better if you just held it all in USD indefinitely and just spent the USD locally, like a local?
So much smarter. Absolutely.
And avoided the back and forth, right? Like, 1% and 2% going this way, 1% and 2% going back that way. And let's call it $2 to $3 each way as a fee, right? But you're talking about this each and every time this happens, right? So once or twice a week, once or twice a month, it doesn't matter, right? It really just adds up very quickly for you, right? And so this is the sort of thing that like we actually can solve for, right? We're saying like, hey, you get all these global bank accounts. You can just hold the money indefinitely. We don't force you to convert. You can just spend the money out of that account like a local. And that's just really for your benefit here, right?
Yeah. You're giving that control back, which is just awesome. I wish we were having this conversation a couple of years ago because I did it wrong for so long. It took me ages to work out that there was a better way to do it. Exactly like what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right. So this is what this is sort of the whole thing, right? Like this is like, we're going to help you get to where you need to go. Right. And we're going to keep more of the money's going to be kept for you. Right. And like if you're thinking, there's no fees. That's great. But FX rates must be really, really high. Right. Well, here's a comparison what that actually looks like. Right. Some of the other names on this list. This is what we charge, right? Just for reference, right? No fees. And when we do the conversion, you're still getting a better rate, right? Compared to more traditional banks.
Absolutely.
And other names, of course, right? And it does add up, right? So for every $10,000, using $10, $20, $50, $100, right? $1,000 maybe, some cases here. Okay. All right. Great. Free bonus for you guys. A lot of what I talked about today actually exists on our website in much, much more detail. So here we go. There's this. If you just literally Google Airwalks growth guides, you'll probably drop into one of these. So airwalks.com/US growth guides or airwalks.com/Canada growth guide will drop you into one or the other, and they're both all connected. Fun stuff. Germany, Italy, Spain are coming in August. If you want to get to know about that later on. I actually think my Australia team is creating one for Australia to US in the next few months too, as well, right? Cool. Very specific for this Australia market use case here.
Awesome. I'm just going to drop some of those links into the chat.
If you want to, I can just copy that for you if you need me.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody can just click on them straight from the chat box.
Whoops. Let's see.
There we go.
Great. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. And then lastly, right, ZonGuru is a great partner of ours. We love ZonGuru a lot. Everyone here, right? We will give you like 50,000 free FX fees free. So you can literally just use us. And the first $50,000 you send anywhere basically are at zero cost to you. Right?
Amazing. Yeah.
You just kill the cost, right? Like if it was going to cost you $10, $50, $1,000, whoever it would have been from wherever you were using this from, it's just free for us, free for you guys now. And additionally, we're also giving you guys a $300 bonus towards the ZonGuru renewal, right? So if you're a ZonGuru customer already and your renewal is coming up, you sign up, $300 right into your renewal, right? And like have at it, right? You're happy with ZonGuru, we're happy you're with ZonGuru. Use us with ZonGuru. It's a really good combination.
That's an awesome offer.
Okay, great.
Amazing.
That is everything I had. We have a little bit of time now. Do you guys have more questions?
Yeah, we've had some great questions during the presentation, but if anybody has anything else they want to ask or share, now's your time. We do have about a 30-second lag, so we'll just hold off just to make sure. It sounds like the room's gone a little bit quiet. They're probably checking out all those awesome links that you've put up there.
Yes, please go for it.
Jane's just asked, can she get this offer even if she has signed up recently?
Sure. Let me look. Okay, Jane, let me find your name and all that fun stuff. And I'll see about getting you the credit for it.
Curtis,
I don't think it should be a problem.
Would you like me to send Jane's email address to you?
Yeah.
And Jane, I'm guessing you're okay if I do that?
If you send me the email, I can talk to my team about this and give you the credit and all the fun stuff. But yeah. Amazing.
Pete said, thanks, Curtis. Definitely interested once I get more started. Yeah, Pete, you're at that awesome. I love that point in the journey where you're refining your product idea, you're getting set to go live, you're getting everything underway. It's definitely something that you want to put in place before you go live. So yeah, keep those links handy. Sounds awesome. James just said, thanks, Curtis. That's so kind of you. Yes, no worries. Awesome. So I'll pass those details on after the call.
Perfect. Yeah, just send them over.
Yeah, amazing. Curtis, I just wanted to say thank you. I've learned so much today, and I'm a huge fan of Airwallex. Like I said, I've made the switch. I highly recommend it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. This was easy. This was fun. Thank you everyone for participating and asking all the great questions. Happy to help if I can.
Awesome. Well, I might end it there. It doesn't look like there's any other questions coming through. Everyone's going to get a replay. If you've had to jump away at any stage, that replay will be coming through probably about 3 or 4 hours from now. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it was a great webinar today. Yeah, I'll speak to you soon, Curtis.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.